Salamat po sa mga taong nagbabahagi ng salita ng Diyos sa social media. Lagi ninyong sineshare yung mga homily namin dito. Salamat sa inyo.
My dear brothers and sisters, as we venerate today all the saints, those who are known and those who are unknown, those who have been formally declared by the Church as saints through the process we call canonization, and those who are not formally declared by the Church as such, but are already with God in heaven. As we honor and dedicate this day for them, we are reminded that the saints are no different from each one of us. The saints are also human beings like us. The saints are also children of God like us. That is why in our second reading today, St. John reminds us that we are all children of God. But the saints remind us that the perfection of our being children of God is in becoming saints. Every child of God is and should be a saint. Ang bawat isa sa atin na anak ng Diyos ay dapat maging banal at dapat maging santo. If God is our Father and God is holy, as we said a while ago in the Gloria, for you alone are the Holy One. If God is holy, and we are children of that God, He is our Father, then each one of us should also strive to be holy. Ang bawat isa sa atin ay santo. And if God has a dream for us, just as each father would have a dream for his children, if God has a dream for us, the dream of God for us is to be saints. And I'm sure that is also our dream for ourselves. I'm sure each one of us also want to be a saint. Sino ba naman ang ayaw maging santo? At sino ba naman ang ayaw na makapasok sa langit upang makasama ang Diyos? We all want to be saints. But I'm sure we will also say that the problem is we find ourselves in situations which do not help us to be holy and to become saints. Sasabihin natin, gusto kong magpakabanal. Pero yung sitwasyon, yung mundo, yung lipunan, o minsan kahit na yung pamilya ko, ay hindi naman banal. Kaya mahirap magpakabanal. We will say that if I were only born in a religious family, I would have been holier. Kung yung magulang ko, mga religious, kung yung pamilya ko, mga taong simbahan, ako siguro, banal ako. Kaya lang hindi sila taong simbahan. Hindi nga nagsisimba. Hindi nga nagdarasal. Paano akong magiging banal? Or some would say, if my workplace is more humane, then I would have been a good person. Kaya lang dun sa trabaho ko, ang hirap maging mabuti. Kasi maraming kalokohang nangyayari. Maraming under the table. Maraming corruption. O kaya, marami sa mga katrabaho ko mahirap pakisamahan. Para akong nasa impyerno sa pinagtatrabahuhan ko, paano akong magiging banal? Hindi ako magiging santo kung yan ang mga kasama ko. O kaya sasabihin natin, if our world, our society has been less materialistic, then I would have been holier. Kaya lang sa mundo, maraming tukso. Kaya mahirap maging santo. My dear brothers and sisters, is there a perfect condition to become holy? Or do we need to wait for the situation to be ideal, to be perfect, to be holier, so that we can become saints? Meron ba talagang sitwasyon na magiging santo tayo? Sasabihin ba natin kung araw-araw lang nasa simbahan ako, nako may halo na ako ngayon. Kung araw-araw lang nandun ako sa adoration chapel, ako'y magiging santo, tiyak yun. Naku, hindi po. Kahit na yung mga taong araw-araw na nasa simbahan, kahit na yung mga nagtatrabaho sa simbahan, kahit na kaming mga pare na araw-araw nagmimisa, nagdarasal, ang hirap ding magpakabanal. There is no perfect condition to become a saint. In our first reading today from the book of Revelation, we heard of the vision of heaven. And there are many people, multitude of people, wearing white robes, standing before the throne of the Lamb. And towards the end of our reading, a question was asked, who are these wearing white robes? And where did they come from? And what was the answer? These are the ones who survived the time of great distress. Sila yung dumanas ng maraming paghihirap, pero sila yung nasa kalwalhatian ng kaharian ng Diyos. And in our gospel, we heard the teaching of Jesus we call the Beatitudes. To be poor, to mourn, to be hungry and thirsty, to be insulted and persecuted are not ideal situations. And yet, Jesus calls them blessed. Even in the time of affliction and distress, even in the time of suffering and pain, we can become holy. In fact, it is in these difficult situations that holiness shines forth. My dear brothers and sisters, we do not need to wait for the ideal situation to be holy. Even an imperfect world can be a perfect place to be a saint. Just look at the lives of the saints. They did not live in cloud nine. Hindi naman naging madali ang buhay ng mga santo. Walang santong may madaling buhay. Lahat yan nahirapan. Lahat yan nagdusa. Pero yung kanilang paghihirap at pagdurusa ang naging daan pa para magningning ang kabanalan sa kanilang buhay. When you are experiencing difficulties, when you are experiencing affliction and pain, when you experience the imperfection of our world, know that that is the moment that God calls you to be holy, that God invites you to be a saint. I remember I attended a golden wedding anniversary of a couple, 50 years of marriage. And during the reception, the couple were given the chance to speak to their guests, magpasalamat sa kanilang mga bisita. When it was the turn of the husband to speak, sabi niya, if there is one thing that makes me happy after 50 years, kung may isang bagay na masayang-masaya ako after 50 years of being married to this lady, sabi niya, it is the fact that after my death, I will surely go to heaven. Kapag namatay ako, tiyak papasok ako sa langit. Nagtaka kami, anniversary, pero sinasabi niya, pag namatay siya, papasok siya sa langit. At sabi niya, alam niyo kung bakit? Kasi 50 years ko nang naranasan ang purgatorio. Of course, that was a joke. But you see, my dear brothers and sisters, there is some grain of truth in it. In suffering, in pain, we can always be holy. In fact, it is through suffering and pain that holiness truly shines forth. My dear brothers and sisters, let us look at the realities of our life. Ano yung mga nangyayari sa buhay mo ngayon? What are you going through in your life? What are the difficulties and problems that you face? What are the crosses that you carry? What makes your life imperfect? Know that it is there that God wants you to be a saint.